Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Hello students, welcome to Chaitanya Studio of Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. I, Dr. Shivang Patel, Associate Professor, welcomes you in our lecture series for MCA program. We are in continuation in MCA-104 operating system subject, Block-03 Linux operating system, and in that Unit-2 file system commands for the Linux or Unix operating system. In previous session, we have discussed directory related commands, in which we have discussed PWD, that is print working directory. Then after we have discussed mkdir for making a directory. Now in today's session, we are continuing with some options of mkdir, and then after we are continuing with some more command of directory related, that is cd, that is changing the directory, and the next one is rmdir, that is remove directory. So just quick review of the previous session. That pwd command that we have already discussed, that displays the print working directory or present working directory. Suppose you want to display currently in which directory you are working, you have to use the command pwd. This command can be used with two options. Options are not mandatory, it is optional, but two options that you can use: capital L and capital P. Capital L that prints the symbolic path, and capital P that prints the actual path. We have already discussed this difference of what is symbolic and what is actual path or the main path, that in our previous session. We have then after discussed mkdir, that is used for making a directory. So in previous session we have discussed you can use multiple options, multiple arguments. If you are having some rights to create multiple directories, then you can write multiple directory name after this mkdir command. We have also seen the practical how to create a directory by using mkdir in the emulator. Help option that provides you the documentation, all other options that related with the mkdir that can be displayed by using this command. Then after we have discussed mkdir with v option. So v, that is nothing but the verbose. If you are creating multiple directories and using this v option, then each and every directory that can be created, it will be displayed accordingly line by line. So by using v option, you can see which directories you are creating. Now you can see that option. So first of all, you can check you are currently working in which directory. So as you already aware, we can use pwd. So you can get this directory path, that is the actual path, /home and /pcr, that is our the current directory. Then after you want to check which directories and which files that are currently built inside that folder or inside that directory or the current directory, you can use ls command. We will see in detail ls command also. Now you can see we have created 4 directories: mydir1, mydir2, mydir3 and mydir4. These are all the sub directories inside our main directory, or you can say that our home directory, right? Now suppose I would like to create few more directory. So I can use here mkdir. We have already seen that if you want to create only single directory, you can write the name also here. So suppose I would like to create single directory, say mydir5. In that case you can write this. But suppose I would like to create few more directory in the same command. In that case you can use multiple directory names. Say for example mydir6, then after another mydir7. So these 3 directories I would like to create in a single command, then this can be possible in a same command by using mkdir. Now suppose you want to show that the directory is created, the emulator prompts you the message. In that case you are requiring the option v, that is verbose option. So at the end of this command, whenever you are pressing the enter, see all the directories that can be created, and the system or the emulator that can notify the user all these directories are created one by one, line by line, right? So now you can check these directories are created or not by using ls command. So whenever you are pressing ls command, it will show you all the current, whatever the directory is available or whatever the file available in that directory, that will be displayed. So that list can be displayed by the ls command. Now mkdir m option. So m option that can be used to set the permission created by the directory. So whenever you are creating the directory, some default permissions that can be assigned to that particular directory. As you already aware, basically 3 basic types of permissions are there: read, write and execute permission. If you are creating any file, if you are creating any code, or if you are creating any program, then it is executable file, right? So suppose you want to assign some of the permission like read permission, write permission, execute permission, because some of the users having only access to only read that file, some of the user having to modify that file, so that is the write access. So these are the 3 basic access permissions that you can give to particular directory or particular file. Now multiple user having different file access or directory access rights. So if you are talking about the user level, then you are having this all the users or particular current user or some other that you can assign the permission. So you can observe on the screen the command mkdir, then after m option, that is assign permission to the particular directory. Now here a equal to rwx, what it means? So a represent the user information, that is all the users. A, that is all the users. So all the users you want to give which permission? So you want to give the permission read, you want to give the permission write, and you want to give the permission execute. So R stands read, W that is for write, and X for execution. So if you want to give all 3 permissions, read, write and execute, to particular directory for all the users, in that case you have to mention the option that is a equal to, a that is for all user, equal to, then after all the permissions, and then after the directory name. So you can see the example mkdir -m, then after a equal to rwx and d1. That means d1 is created, d1 new directory is created in your current directory with the permissions read, write and execute to all the users, right? Now you can see sometimes system refuses to create directory. So at which points that system refuses to create directory? So you can see if the directory with the name already exists. Now you have already seen that we have created the directory mydir1 in the current directory PCR. Now suppose this directory is already exist and you are trying to create the new directory having the same name. In that case, system will display the error message that directory is already exist, so you can change your name. So it is not allowed to create the directory having the same name, it is already available in the system. That is the first scenario. In the second scenario, if you are trying to create a directory but the name of the directory that is already that with the file name, right? So already that name having the file in the same directory, in that case you cannot able to create that directory, right? That is the second scenario. And the third scenario, if you are not having some sufficient permissions, as we have already discussed, each and every user having some specific permission to create or modify some file or directory. If you are not having some permission or access rights, in that case you cannot create that directory. So these are the 3 scenarios in which you cannot create a directory, right? So this is all about the mkdir. Now we are moving with the next command, that is cd, that is change directory. Now suppose whenever you are using pwd, then you can see the present working directory. You want to move to another directory to create some file, right? So if you are creating a file, in that case it will create in the current directory. But suppose you don't want to create that file in the current directory, you want to create file in some another directory. In that case you have to change the path of whole prompt. In that case this command is used to change the directory, right? So what is the syntax? So you have to use the cd command, that is change directory, then after space, and then after you have to pass the particular directory name. Now mind well, here this is the syntax available on your screen, but whatever the directory name that you are entering, you can assign by using the two types of path. One is relative path and one is absolute path. So I think you already aware between this relative path and absolute path. I am just briefing you what is relative path and what is absolute path. Suppose you are currently in directory 1 and inside directory 1 another directory is there, that is subdirectory 1. Now suppose you want to change, in that case you want to move to that subdirectory, you can directly use that directory name with the cd command. That is the relative path. That means it indicates the current directory. But suppose you want to move some another directory that is not in the current directory, the location is at different level. In that case, you have to use the absolute path. You can see here, absolute path that always starts with the root directory. So if you want to change the directory having stored in some different location, in that case you have to pass the whole path, the actual location, that is nothing but the absolute path. And suppose you want to change the directory from the current folder or current directory, in that case it is not required to pass the whole path. In that case, just simply you have to pass the name of that directory, that is nothing but the relative path. We can see this concept by using the example. These are all the directories in our current directory. Again I am repeating, pwd, that is the current directory that you are working in. Now suppose you want to check which are the directories available. Now suppose you can observe here the prompt. I would like to create another directory in my dir1. So suppose I am using mkdir and then after here subdirectory 1. So this subdirectory 1, that is the name of the subdirectory. If I am using this command at this prompt here, in that case this subdirectory can be created in the current working directory. But suppose I would like to create that directory in my dir1. So in that case I have to change the directory. So I have to change by using cd command. Now you can observe the prompt here. First of all, the prompt is only with the current directory. Now I have changed that prompt with my dir1. That what it means? Now currently I am working in my dir1. After changing that directory to my dir1, now currently my location is my dir1. How you can check this? By using pwd. So whenever you are using this command pwd, so previously it will display home and pcr, that is the current directory at that time. Now I have changed my directory to my dir1. So the path is home, before home that is slash, that indicates the root, then after the pcr, then after slash, then after my dir1. So this path indicates the absolute path, right? That means your directory or your file located at which location, the whole path that representing that location, that is nothing but the absolute path or the actual path. So currently I am in the my dir1. Now suppose I would like to create subdirectory, then you can use this mkdir command. I am using the subdirectory name, that is my subdirectory 1. Press enter. So now this directory is created. Now suppose you want to check that directory is created under this folder, under this directory my dir1. As you already aware, you can use the ls option. So ls command that can be used to list out whatever the directories, subdirectories, files that are available in the current directory. So currently I am working in my dir1, that is my current directory. Whenever I am using that command ls, so whatever the directory I have created, that is my subdir1, that will be displayed, right? Now suppose I would like to create another directory. So use that same command mkdir, then after my subdirectory 2, right? So this directory that can be created. So you can check here by using ls command. So in my directory 1, that is my parent directory, or you can say that the folder, inside that folder I have created two subdirectories or two subfolders having the name my subdir1 and my subdir2, right? Now suppose I would like to create another subdirectory in the subdirectory my subdir1. So I have to change the path. So how I can change the path? With the help of cd. then after my sub dir1. Now you can observe here the prompt that can be changed. Before it is only my dir1. Now after using the cd command, the path can be changed, the prompt can be changed. It included that my sub dir1. Now suppose you want to check any file or directory is there in particular folder or particular subdirectory. In that case you can use ls command. So we have not created any of the file, we have not created any of the directory inside that directory. So nothing will be shown, right? Now suppose you want to move or outside the current directory. In that case you can use cd and the tilde sign that is available after escape key. So you can see here, whenever you are using this option, that is tilde sign, cd space and tilde, so it will move to the parent directory, right? So you can see here on the prompt, first of all we are inside the my directory and my subdirectory one. After using this command, the prompt will be changed to the current directory. Now you can check by using pwd command. So it will show you your current directory, that is /root, that is home, and the pcr. Now suppose you want to change the path. We are talking about the relative path and the absolute path. So suppose I am again changing my directory to my dir1. So here the path is my dir1. Now suppose I would like to change the directory to subdirectory. So I am again using the command my subdirectory 1. So only this directory name I have to pass here, that is nothing but the relative path. Why? Because this directory, this subdirectory is already available in the current directory. So I don't have to change the path to the root directory. I can directly move to the directory which is already available in the current directory. So that is indicating the relative path. But currently suppose I am here in my dir and my dir1, I would like to move to another directory directly. In that case I have to use the whole path, and that whole path is nothing but the absolute path. Now see in the screen, suppose I would like to move to my dir2, right? So in that case I have to pass the whole path here, and that is nothing but the absolute path, right? So you can use here cd command, then after you have to use the whole path here, say for example /home, then after /pcr. Inside that pcr I would like to move to this another directory, that is my dir2, right? Whenever I am pressing enter, you can observe here, previously the command prompt is my dir1 and my sub dir1, that is currently I am working in my dir1 and inside that subdirectory my subdirectory1. Now I am changing the path to another directory and I have given the whole path name, and that whole path name is nothing but the absolute path. This rmdir command use rmdir, then after space, and whatever the directory you want to remove, that you have to pass. Now remember one thing, if that directory contains some file or contains some subdirectories, then you cannot directly delete that directory by using rmdir command, right? So say for example, practically you can see, suppose I would like to remove, but before that you can change your path. So I can change cd pwd, I can check again by using ls. So these are the directories. Now I have created subdirectories in my dir, so you can change cd my dir1. You can observe here, these are the subdirectories available. Now suppose you want to remove that particular directory, so you can use rmdir and then after the file name my dir1. But here system will give you error message. Why? Because you are trying to remove the directory which is your current directory. So it is not possible to remove that directory if you are currently working in, right? So first of all, if you want to remove that directory, you have to go outside that directory. So first of all, we have to change our prompt by using the cd. Now you can use the rmdir command and then after the directory name. Now again system will give you error message. Why it cannot be possible to delete that directory? Because that directory contains some data, that directory contains some subdirectories. You are trying to delete that directory. On the prompt, the error message will occur, fail to remove. Why? Because directory is not empty. So if you want to remove the empty directory, then you can use rmdir command. Otherwise you cannot remove. If you want to remove the directory which is non-empty, in that case you have to use some of the options with the particular command. So with rmdir command you can use capital P option to remove the directory which is non-empty. Second alternative you are having, you can use the particular option, that is R option with rm command. We can see here in the command prompt. Suppose you want to delete that particular mydir 5, 6 and 7, right? So you can use rmdir. Then after, user will prompt one by one when directory is deleted. So that verbose option we are using. We are trying to delete multiple directories in a single command. So you can pass all the directory names here that you want to delete. Mind well, that must be empty directory, no content should be there, otherwise system will generate error message. Whenever I am pressing enter key, you can see here all these 3 directories will be deleted and the message will be shown one by one, line by line. Now you can check with the help of ls command. So previously these directories are present and now after using this command, these directories will be deleted, right? Now suppose mydir1, that is the directory which contains some data, right? So if you want to delete that directory having subdirectories are there, or you want to remove the non-empty directory, in that case you can use rm command also with R option. So if you are using R option and then after passing that directory, the error message, it will simply delete that non-empty directory, right? So you can also use rmdir command with P option and you can also use rm command with R option. Now you can check with the ls command. Our directory mydir1 which is not empty, we are having some subdirectories into that, still it can be removed with the help of R option, right? So these are the options for rmdir command. Now these 4 commands that we have seen, pwd, cd, mkdir and rmdir, that are related with the directories. Now we are moving with the file related commands. So in subsequent sessions we will see all these commands. First command is ls command, second is cat command, third one is cp command for copy and fourth one is move command. Now we start with the ls command, that is list directory. As we have seen that suppose you want to see whatever the contents, that means whatever the files or subdirectories or directories available in particular directory, in that case you can use this ls command. Now ls command simply gives you the list of all the directories or all the files which are currently available in particular folder or particular directory. Now whatever the files or directory that are listed in some specific sequence, and that sequence is nothing but the ASCII collating sequence. So whatever the files or directory that saved or the name started with the digits that are displayed first, then after capital letter, then after small letter. This is the hierarchy in which the name will be displayed whenever you are using the ls command, right? This is the syntax ls, then after options that are optional, multiple options are there, we will see one by one, and then after you have to use the file name, if that means other directory name or the file name if you want to see whatever the other contents are available, right? Now ls with a option, if you want to display some hidden files, in that case you can use this a option. Hidden files that can be shown or that can be the name started with the dot in the Linux or Unix system. So you can see here on the command prompt, suppose you want to see the list of all the directories, here with the help of ls you can see all the directory list, right? Now suppose I would like to display hidden files or directory also, then I can use A option. So you can see here some other directories or other files that are also displayed here, which starts with dot. Information about the file, in that case you have to use the command L. So I am using ls-l. So these are the detailed information about all the files. Now this output is divided into multiple columns. So which kind of information is here? So you can see 3 rows are there. The first part that represent some permissions. As we have already discussed, basically 3 permissions are there: read, write and execute, right? So before that, one letter or one character that represent D. So here 4 options are there. Suppose you have created some file and that can be listed here with the help of ls command, and that file is ordinary file, then it is represented by the hyphen sign. As in the previous session we have discussed types of file. So basically 3 types of file that we have already discussed, that is ordinary file, directory file and the device file, right? So if the file is the ordinary file, in that case that can be represented by the dash sign. If the file that is the directory, in that case it starts with D, right? If it is started with the B, then it is the block special file. If it is started with the C, then it is the character special file, right? So if you are showing here that ls with L option, that will see you the detailed information. Now it displays which information? So permissions, links, user and group, file size, last modified, time step and the file name. So you can observe here the output: first letter, first character that represent the type of file, then after the user permissions, then after it display the link, that means that particular file or particular directory linked with how many other files or directories, that number of links that can be displayed here. Now you can observe here the permissions RWX that are again divided into 3 parts. Right now only consider that permissions are divided into these RWX, first 3 letters RWX that represent the user, next 3 that represent the group and the next 3 that represent the others. The owner information, say for example MyDAR2, who is the owner? So owner is the PCR. The user who have created that particular directory, that name will be displayed here. But suppose the user is the part of a group, in that case the group name also displayed here with this ls-l option. Then after the file or the directory created at which time or it is modified at which time, that will be displayed here, and in the last column the file name or the directory name that will be displayed. Now D option that can be display the working directory, ND option that represent the user ID and group ID, then after LD option that represent the working directory in details. All these options that you can try yourself, it is very easy to understand. R option that represent all the directories or the file in reverse order. T option all the directories or all the files that are listed as per their modification times. Then after U option as per their access time. Then after capital R option that represent all the directory one by one in separate line in vertical. Say for example you want to represent here all these files, so you can see with R option these are displayed vertically, right? So these are some options. You pause the screen and try it yourself, you can get clear idea. That is wildcard characters, or you can say that the meta characters. Basically asterisk, that is star, and question mark that you already aware, these are working as wild characters. Now see some examples. Now what is question mark? It represent a single character, and what is asterisk? It represent 0 or multiple characters, right? So if the ls command temp, then after asterisk and .txt, that means whatever the files that started with temp and then after any of the character with extension .txt, all are listed. Another example, ls star.txt, that means all the file names having the extension .txt that will be displayed. So you can use these wildcard characters or meta characters with ls command also. Next command is cat command. So cat command that is used to create a file. Now suppose you want to create a file, you have to use the cat command. We can see here how to create the cat file by using cat command. If you want to create a file, first of all you have to move to that particular directory. Now suppose I would like to create a file in my directory too. So I have to change that directory as my current directory. So you already aware, I can change with the help of cd command. So cd, then after my dir2. So now I am moving in this directory. How you can check? You can check with the pwd, right? This is my current directory. I would like to create a file. I can use cat command and with greater than sign, whatever the file name. Say for example, my file name is file1.txt. So I have given the name file1.txt. Before that I have to use greater than sign because I would like to create that file. That file is not currently exist. So this file is created. Then whenever you are pressing the enter, it will ask you for the contents. So I can write here some content here, hello students, or in that case I have to press Ctrl D. So whenever I am pressing Ctrl D, it will save that data. Now suppose you want to see the content, then simply you can use cat and then file name, file1.txt. Now you can see the content of file. So we have discussed, if you want to create a file, in that case you have to use greater than sign. If you want to display the content, then directly you can use the file name. So in this session we have discussed some directory related commands as well as file related commands, in which we have seen the ls command with some options and cat command. In the next subsequent sessions we are moving with the details of options with cat command and other file related commands. Till then, happy learning. Thank you.